All right, shalom, my Akis. I hope y'all are doing well. I just wanted to do a quick video, just about some new information that I've been learning. Like I said, ever since I came into this truth, I have been learning, and it's been more research after research and studying the scripture. And one of the things that I want to talk about, and I hope that someone can, help me out as I continue to research the real true things of our Abba Yahuah. And so I want to talk about Yahuah's calendar versus the man-made Gregorian calendar. If you don't know anything about the Gregorian calendar, it was established by, I believe his name was Pope Gregory. Of course, the Pope that comes from the Roman Catholic Church or whatnot. And this is the calendar now that practically almost, not everyone, but almost everyone in the world goes by. And you see how these months were created, and then the quote-unquote 12 zodiac signs, and you got the days of the week and all of that stuff. And so what I've researched, when you think about this Gregorian calendar, and what I've learned is that each month was actually named behind a pagan deity, and also the days of the week was also named behind pagan deities. And I'll just name two. For example, you got Saturday, which is actually Saturn's day, and then of course you got Sunday, which is actually sun worship, and this is the day that a lot of Christians would go to church and they would claim that they are praising God and giving him honor and all that stuff, but in reality it's really sun worship. They're going to worship the sun, S-U-N. So, and then all the other days. Now when I think about Yahuah's calendar and what I've researched, the fact that only one day was named, and that was the Sabbath, right? Every other day that he created, it was the first day, the second day, the third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day. But on the seventh day, that was the day that he actually named the Sabbath. He hallowed it and sanctified it and blessed it. And that was the day that he created for us since the beginning, so that we can have rest. Now, another thing that I learned that really hit me, and some people may get it, some people may deny it, but what was shown to me by the Ruach is that when I was celebrating the Sabbath on quote-unquote Saturday, it was actually incorrect. What the Ruach had spoken to me was, how can I mix Yahuah's created day that was established since the beginning and mix it with a man-made day that was created by Pope Gregory, that was established in the Gregorian calendar? There's no mix. So I have to say this, my Akis, that celebrating the Sabbath or honoring the Sabbath on Saturday is actually incorrect. And there is nothing in scripture that establishes Saturday as the Sabbath. And I've looked, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I mean, the Sabbath is the Sabbath day. Now, what helped me determine how to properly celebrate the Sabbath on the Sabbath, and also all of the other feast days, which actually, before I get to that, brings me to my next point. You know how on this Gregorian calendar that many of the world go by now, and it has Passover. 1 year Passover is like the middle of April, and then the next year the Passover is like the end of March, or Feast of Tabernacles. One moment is in like the first week of October, and Day of Atonement is like the last week of September. But then the following year is another time frame. Same thing with Hanukkah. Hanukkah sometimes it'd be like the last week of December. I think Hanukkah for 2022 was like mid-December, like the third week of December, something like that. So every year on these Gregorian calendars, the feasts were on different days or at a certain time of those months, sometimes even on different months. Now, when I read scripture, Yahuah's appointed feasts are always on a set time every year. It never changes. It's always, and when he established those appointed times that we are to celebrate and honor him, he clearly said, I set it as a memorial for you, that it be a statute for you forever, that you would teach it to your children and your children's children, right? So when I realized that I wasn't worshiping and honoring the feast days in the correct time frame either. Like today, me and my wife, we were studying about the Passover, and it clearly says in Shemot that it was on the month of Abib, and I believe it was like the 14th day of that month or something like that. I can't remember from the top of my head. But when Passover was established, it was established on a certain time, a certain day every year. It didn't change. The same with all the other appointed times of Yahuah. They were established at the same time, same day, every single year. It doesn't change. Yahuah's calendar is pinpoint to the T, established. Each month had the equal amount of days, or each there was always the 7-day period. I can go on and on and on, but his appointed times don't change. But for some reason on this Gregorian calendar, the appointed times change from year to year. So we're actually haven't been celebrating or honored the Sabbath or his appointed feast as he has created. We are worshiping on man-made days, which is wrong. And so when Yahuah showed me this, man, it just had me really think that this road really is a narrow road. For example, when I understood about the Sabbath, and he made it so simple, and it's easy actually. In Genesis or Bereshit, when the moon and the sun and the stars were created, it's clearly said they were created, and it would show the times and the seasons. So how, and you can do this research on your own, but how the Sabbath was established started from, the new moon, because the new moon represents a new month. And then just 7 days after that, the Sabbath, 7 days. So so when we say that the Sabbath is on Saturday, or it's wrong. And so, and y'all remember, and Daniel says that he will attempt to change times and laws, and that's exactly what happened, because Satan wants to completely undermine the days of Yahuah, the set appoint times that Yahuah have created for his people, and pretty much try to just bury them so that we won't know. And this is why we, as Yahuah's people, we have to do our research. We have to study and uncover, what Satan tried to hide. And so now, coming into this knowledge and understanding the proper time to create the Sabbath, the honor of the Sabbath, the hardest, well, it was hard at first, but now it's really not. We know that Yahuah established the Sabbath, and he said you should not work on the Sabbath, plain and simple. And so one of the decisions that I had to make was, it would be hard to work any type of day job unless I get some type of favor. Unless I get some type of favor where when I say to them, hey, I cannot work on certain days and certain times of the week and of the year. But if not, then it's going to be very hard. Because once you know the truth, you have to make a choice. Either you're going to obey Yahuah, his laws and statutes, commandments, his Torah, or not. And we still are commanded to keep his Sabbath. And working on the Sabbath is a sin. And I know a lot of us, we are in situations where, what do we do? I mean, plain example, myself. You know, I have 5 children and a wife. But when I made that commitment to obey Yahuah and his commands, as tough as it may be financially, but I'm believing that, you know, when I make that choice to obey him fully, sometimes making some of the hardest decisions, that he will meet all needs. He will supply everything that is needed. Now, he has given me some other avenues to generate income, like, of course, you know, starting a business. You know, you work for yourself, finding somewhere you can make passive income working for yourself, where you can create your own schedule, where it does not get in the way of you worshiping Yahuah on his set appoint times. And so, I mean, investing, there's a couple of things that he has led me to invest in, and I pray eventually, you know, those investments pay off, but we'll see. But there's other things that Yahuah will lead you to make sure that you are able to take care of your family. But, you know, you have to make a choice. Now, like I said, brothers and sisters, that's just a lot of the research that I've been doing. If I'm wrong, you know, please help me out. Please correct me. Like I said, I'm still learning, because I want to make sure that I obey him fully. Obey every command, including keeping his appointed feast at the correct times, not according to the Gregorian man-made calendar. So, to all my brothers and sisters, if you've been honoring the Sabbath on Saturday, it's incorrect. It really is. And you really know when it's the Sabbath by the phases of the moon, starting from the new moon, and you just go 7 days after that. I mean, it's really, once Yahuah broke it down to me, I'm like, oh, it's that simple? It's that easy? But, you know, Satan, as cunning as he is, he tried to throw all this confusion and throw all these things in the way to try to make it so cluttered to the point where you just like, whatever. But in reality, no, it's really not. So, man, it's like I said, it's been a lot of research, and I'm grateful to come into the knowledge that I've came into. And, you know, this is why scripture says my people perish for a lack of knowledge. We don't take the time to really seek what it is that Satan has been trying to hide from us. And I'm telling you, when you realize when to keep the appropriate feast and the Sabbath at its correct time according to how Yahuah established it, like I said, you're gonna have to make some hard choices. I had to. And this is another question that the Ruach had asked me literally a week ago. And this is what he said when I was laying down. He said, can you work a regular job and effectively serve Yahuah? That was the question I was asked. And I said, nope, I cannot. Because most of these jobs, they don't care. They don't, you know, they put those, you know, how can I say it? Those, you know, what they put at the end of each application. We don't discriminate based on sex and religious, you know, all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. The EEO policy or whatever it is. Every job puts that. But in reality, let's keep it real. You go on these jobs and you tell them, listen, I need certain times off. I need a lot of them jobs. They ain't gonna want to hear that. All they care about is make sure they having people to be under their slave labor to establish the numbers that they want to establish for that business. And so we, as the people of Yahuah, we have to make a choice. Once you come into that knowledge, you have to make the choice. Will you compromise, or will you obey his laws and commands? And if you decide you're going to obey it fully, including the Sabbath day and his feast, will you trust him that he will create other streams of income for you to provide for yourself and for your family? This really is a narrow road, brothers and sisters. It really is. No wonder why only thousands would get this. No wonder why. Now it makes sense. And this is going to be the difference between those that are called and then those that are chosen, the set apart ones. And remember, the Sabbath that's a covenant. That's a sign between us and Yahuah. So yes, you gotta think about it. A lot of the false Jews honor the Sabbath on Saturday. 7-day Adventists honor the Sabbath on Saturday. So we really are set apart people. We really are peculiar people, because we're not to do things according to how man has established it. We're not to do things according to the man-made Gregorian calendar. We're not. We have to do things according to how Yahuah has designed it and ordained it and established it since the very beginning. And that's all I have to say on that, brothers and sisters. Again, I'm reaching out. If anything that I said in this video was an error, please let me know, because I'm always eager to learn more and more, because I want to be pleasing to Yahuah, so that I don't be, in error with him. And I want to make sure that my marriage is in order, my children are in order, my life is in order. And so it's important that I get all the information needed so I can walk this out right, according to how the Ruach wants me to do it. So I thank you guys. I love you guys, and I pray that y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Shalom.